stunning visuals of Group Captain Subhanshu Shukla conferred the Ashoka Chakra there. Sandeep, you know, this you see that change happening. While we are rooted in what we really were in terms of our military strength, our might, on how we look at things in terms of defense, in terms of gallantry awards, but the change is right in front of us. Yep. You know, the Ashoka Chakra today is being conferred to someone, tomorrow is going to be on board a mission to space.
Absolutely, and just shows the importance that India is according to space travel and the space program, the Gaganyaan in the 2020s, and in the 2030s you're going to have the Bharat Space Station, the indigenous Indian space station. So these are very important steps in India's establishing ourselves as a spacefaring nation. Remember, we had a space program when we could barely feed ourselves. This is the time of, you know, when people wondered why is a third world country investing so heavily on space. And these are those investments that we made in the 1950s, which have borne fruit. We are today a space power to reckon with, you know, launching our own satellites. We're launching satellites for other countries as well. We've got rockets of our own. We are aspiring to take our place there, you know, in the committee of spacefaring nations. Russia, the United States, China, and of course, India is going to be the fourth major space power in the coming decade or so, Preeti.
Right. You know, as we look at these visuals and we salute Group Captain Shukla for his achievements, it's also a good time to take a moment and think about all those unsung heroes during Operation Sindoor who we might not be seeing up in stage today, being decorated, you know, being given these awards, but so important to acknowledge the tri-services coming in together, the boots on ground who keep it churning for us to keep the sovereignty of our republic as safe as it is.
Absolutely.
And there were so many men who were involved in that.
Absolutely, Preeti. And you know, the one thing that I wanted to emphasize is the fact that it was jointmanship. You know, that was one, we saw it on one
for the first time, you saw tri-services coming in together and run a fabulous operation.
Seamlessly, right. And the Chief of Defence Staff being over there. He's not just the Chief of Defence Staff, but he's also the Chairman, Chief of Staff's Committee. He wears 3 hats. So he was in full flight during Operation Sindoor, where he was coordinating the seamless, you know, escalation ladder that they had put into place to deter Pakistan from climbing the escalation ladder. And what we achieved during Op Sindoor was escalation dominance. That's a very important thing, that when you have escalation dominance, you force your adversary to dial down on the hostilities and seek a ceasefire, which is exactly what we did on the 10th of May.
You know, because the diversity of our armed forces also needs to be honored. Like I said, you know, I'm an army kid, and today was marked by Bada Khana, even if your father was posted to a field area, and, you know, the kids would only look forward to that. But I want to bring in all our guests once again as we look at this iconic formation of the flypast, which just took place a short while ago. But Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, you know, as we salute Group Captain Shukla, as, you know, he's been conferred and, you know, the Ashoka Chakra. But it is a good day today to step back and acknowledge and honor all those boots on ground who, without complaint, effortlessly keep our borders safe, keep our sovereignty flying high, and all of them were also part of Operation Sindoor, and that's why we emerged as victorious as we were.
Superb display of jointness. You can feel it. And that itself, I think, the takeaway from Operation Sindoor is that aspect of jointness. The thing that we saw, unity in diversity. I think this is the kind of parade which will inspire every Indian to feel proud today that yes, we are the 4th largest economy in the world. We will soon be the 3rd largest economy in the world, and we count and we matter. And even the kind of, you know, you could see a glimpse of that NCC in even the Prime Minister when he was at the National War Memorial, reminding me of that song, Ye Hum Sab Bhartiya Hain. And that is very important. Sincerely hope each one of us puts in our best, ensures our country remains at top at all times, and we have to be vigilant, not be complacent, and I think we will 100%. Ensure that.
Vice-Admiral Sinha, because, you know, we've spoken so much on how weaponry is sophisticated, rules of engagement of war are very, very different, but how can we not honor those boots on ground which keep it all together? You know, the focus might have shifted from the infantry like it was possibly during Kargil to the Air Force today and this sophisticated machinery, and we're talking very different war tactics, but it all has to come together to give shape and form to the kind of operations that we lead and win today.
No, you're quite right. If you look at the history of all our wars, most of them, all three services have participated but separately, maybe on different fronts. But Sindur is the first time when all three have brought the firepower onto target together. So when you have this unity of force, then you can destroy a target even much quicker than what individual service will do. So that is one. And they talked about, India's biggest strength is its people. It's 1.46 billion people. It's a very big strength of this country. You talk about economy, you talk about the variety in the armed forces. All that is because we have people who are keeping pace with time. If you see the Indian Navy's marching contingent, 144 of them, and represented by every state and union territory. So that is how they have, that is how the armed forces actually get people together and, they keep them under one flag. So I think the people's strength should not be forgotten at all. And these, boots on ground and pilots and Ashoka Chakra and all that comes from this part of the society, same society. So I think that, our people are the strength of this country.
Well, the people are the strength of this country, and what makes and strengthens the people is the constitution of this country that India adopted in 1950. We must look at it as a 77-year journey which started, in 1950, where we adopted the constitution as etched by Baba Saheb Ambedkar, to where we stand today. And as we celebrate our military might, our military prowess, and we forge ahead, Sandeep, it is so important to once again look on how rooted we are on the constitution of this country that keeps this diverse country, and as diverse as it is, and we saw a small glimpse of that today on the, at the Kartavya Path. What keeps it together is the belief, and every year when we come back and reaffirm our faith in that one document that holds our diversity as one, and that's the Constitution of India.
Absolutely, Preeti. We the people of India, and those words are so significant, and the Constitution starts with those words, and that is what it's a distilled essence of who we are, where we are, and where we want to be as a people. I think it's one of the most significant documents that India has ever produced in its history, and that is actually that it is the roadmap for where we want to be in the future as well. As you mentioned, we're the fourth largest economy in the world. We will soon be the third largest economy in the world. And of course, it is all about the people of India. As Admiral Sinha mentioned, people are our biggest strength. People are who this entire country is dedicated to. Everything that we do is for the people of India. All of this, the armed forces, the cultural tableaus, and finally it is all about serving those people. And some of the biggest decisions, Preeti, to my mind, have been post-independence, have been one of course, 1950 is the adoption of the Constitution. And the second one would be, I would say, the Green Revolution, when we actually, fed this huge mass of humanity. And today, in 2026, we have the distinction of being able to feed over 80 crore people. No country in human history or no civilization has done what we have done, we've managed to achieve. Because this actually tells you that the focus of the people, the rulers of India has always been the people of India.